into, in my personal opinion, my favorite year in movies, 2012. There's so many great movies that came out in 2012, like summer blockbusters and original movies. This is a year where I think the last decade becomes so iconic. There's so many great movies that came out in 2012, and personally, I was nailing down this top 10 list, and it's probably some of the hardest top 10 lists I've ever nailed down. I can make a top 20 favorite movies of 2012. There is more great movies in 2012 than worst movies in 2012, and that's a great sign. But of course I have to nail down my top 10. If you disagree with all the movies I put into my top 10 best movies of 2012, that's completely fine. Make your own. Let me know in the comments below, what are your top 10 favorite movies of 2012, because I want to know. Before I start talking about my favorite years in movies, please make sure you subscribe to OZD Movie Reviews for more movie reviews and other movie related content. Just ring the bell to notify that. So no further ado guys, let's start talking about my top 10 best movies of one of my favorite years in movies, 2012. Starting with
number 10.
So let's start off this list with Rian Johnson's science fiction masterpiece. Before Star Wars The Last Jedi, he directed Looper. It proves to us that Rian Johnson can direct original movies more than franchise movies, if that makes sense to you guys. I love Looper. I see Looper as like the better version of Gemini Man that came out last year. It's about a man finding his older self, but the difference is it's a time travel movie as well, which is really unique and really different. Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt does a great job playing this one character in the film. This film is exciting, it's unique, it's original. I see Looper as like the next Matrix.
Number 9.
Oh yeah, even comedy surprised us in 2012. 21 Jump Street is a movie that we did not expect, and I didn't even expect to put on my top 10 list. I love the chemistry between Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. It's just one of the best comedic duos that I've seen with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, or Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. I just love buddy cop movies, and this movie is probably some of the best buddy cop movies that I've ever seen. It took this really simple concept, and it's very silly, but the film knows that. It's just a lot of fun, it has great lines, it has great laughs. 21 Jump Street is a movie that we did not expect to be in anyone's top 10 best list, and it did for me.
Number 8.
Oh yeah, this is a superhero film in a whole new generation. Let's just take a found footage film and make it into a superhero film. Thank God this movie didn't suck. Chronicle. This is honestly one of my favorite superhero films that came out in so long, because they took a genre that I'm not even a fan of. I hate found footage films because they're annoying for me, and make it so unique with Chronicle, with probably some of the most simple concepts that I've seen in a superhero film. It's a simple concept of these kids having powers, and they do it in the most original and different way. It's not like any other superhero movies that we've ever seen. I see Chronicle as like a super villain movie more than a superhero film, and they did that in the most unique way, and they used found footage to tell the story, and that is fantastic with Chronicle, and it's probably one of my favorite found footage films of all time. Before the shitty Fantastic, Josh Trank directed this movie, and we don't know what happened after that, because Chronicle was just awesome!
Number 7.
Alright, another surprising film. A lot of people think this film's gonna suck because the original film did suck in the first place. So this remake has a lot of potential. And now, it just turns out great, and everyone was saying, we need a sequel to Dredd. We need a sequel to this movie, and we're still waiting. And I'm still waiting. We did not expect Dredd to be this badass. Kurt Urban, who plays Dredd, was just so fantastic. He just smashes down Sylvester Stallone in a whole new way. The action was so underrated. Like, I think the action in this movie is some of the best action that I've seen in an R-rated superhero film. Everything about Dredd is exactly what we want from the original movie. Dredd did such a great job, and again, where the hell is a sequel to this movie? We need it! We really need it. Guys, please, if you've read ideas, make Dredd 2 and make it awesome!
Number 6.
Now, this is a very controversial movie on my list. A lot of people didn't like this movie. Some people loved this movie. To me, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I really enjoyed the Hobbit movie so far. So, of course, the Hobbit movie started off with The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey. I like these movies. I don't give a crap what people say about these movies. I enjoyed the Hobbit movies. The Hobbit and Unexpected Journey is a great introduction to this series. Yes, at times it goes really, really slow, but it didn't bore me or anything. It's a great start to a trilogy that I personally liked. I liked all the characters in the film. Thorin Oakenshield is just one of the most badass dwarfs that I've ever seen. Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins was also great in the film. A Hobbit and Unexpected Journey is a great start to this trilogy that a lot of people were controversial of. In my opinion, I love the Hobbit trilogy, and this movie is a great start to that series.
Number 5.
Alright guys, up to my top 5 favorite movies of 2012, and oh my god, this is the list full of surprises. Most of these movies on my list, I did not expect these movies to be good at all. Until those movies came out and they just become successful in my opinion. Take WreckIt Ralph for example. I love Disney and I love video games, and usually with video game movies, they're not that good. I would say like with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, WreckIt Ralph is like the best video game movie that isn't based on any video game at all. I love WreckIt Ralph. The characters in the movie are so fantastic. We've got one of the most adorable, annoying kids that I surprisingly love. This movie has some of the most emotional scenes I've seen in a Disney movie. I thought the story of this movie is great. Ralph is just one of the most likable characters in the movie, and John C. Reilly is a great voiceover for that. It's exciting, it's a fun video game movie, and it's probably one of my favorite animated films of the last decade. I could put this in my top 5, that is for sure.
Number 4.
Now coming to my number 4 is a great return for Bond. After the successful of Quantum of Solace, now we got a perfect Bond film after that. And I just can't compare Casino Royale with Skyfall, because those two movies I would say are my favorite Bond movies like ever. Skyfall, oh my god, you don't know how much I was surprised by this movie. I was really worried. I was really worried about this movie because I hate Quantum of Solace. I hate it. It's probably one of the worst Bond films with Die Another Day. And Skyfall, just like, okay, let's fix James Bond and make it better. And Sam Mendes, great job on this movie. And Bruce Starr, Daniel Craig, in my opinion, is my favorite Bond ever. And I gotta say, Harvey Bardem in this movie, what a Bond villain. It just has everything we want from a Bond movie in a new generation. It's kind of like one of those movies that you think, oh, it just goes from this cliche Martini bit. Nope, we're gonna make this movie more badass and fun, and Skyfall delivers that.
Number 3.
We can't do my top 10 favorite movies of 2012 without this 4-year wait that became so successful, and it's a movie that we thought it is in a whole new way. The Avengers is the movie that probably started making the MCU more iconic than it actually is. All our favorite heroes from phase 1 of the MCU come together in a movie that we've been waiting for since the first Iron Man. And the Avengers gives us exactly what we want. It's a fun movie that knows exactly what it is, not taking it seriously. It's just a movie that knows exactly what it is. The Avengers fighting a city for the whole final act to fight Loki. And it's everything we've ever wanted. All the characters' chemistry is exactly what we wanted. It's a great superhero film. It's the most iconic superhero film. I watched all the Avengers movies leading up to Endgame, and the first Avengers is still holding up till this day.
Number 2.
Quentin Tarantino. 2 words, you guys know what movie it is. Django Unchained is fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I just have to say that word. I have to say the F word. Because everything about Django Unchained describes us why Tarantino is one of the most unique and original directors working today. And I would say, I was thinking to myself, Tarantino's directing a Western movie? That's something different, and it proves us that Tarantino can do any genre in movies. If Tarantino does a superhero film, I would be pumped for that. Django Unchained is a great revenge story, has a great casting, everything about the movie is just so much fun. Again, it proves to us to why Tarantino is the most unique director out there. If number 1 did come out, this movie would have been my number 1, but of course, there is my number 1 favorite movie of 2012. Let's get into that.
Number 1.
Alright, my number 1 favorite movie of 2012. Now you're thinking, where's that movie on my top 10 best list? It's on my number 1. If you guys don't know, I'll give you guys a clue. The Fire Rises! Of course, The Dark Knight Rises is my favorite movie of 2012. I saw this movie today, I'm not even kidding, to set up my top 10 favorite movies of 2012. And in my opinion, The Dark Knight Rises is like the return of the king in this trilogy. After the biggest success of Batman Begins and Dark Knight, everyone was anticipating for this film, including myself. I'm a big fan of the Christopher Nolan movies. I'm a big fan of the Dark Knight movies so far. But The Dark Knight Rises, I was literally so hyped for. And it succeeded in its own hands and still holds up to me one of my favorite conclusions in a superhero film today. With some of the most badass villains, Bane, Tom Hardy, just one of my favorite movie villains with Joker. I just can't compare Joker and Bane. They're both great villains in their own unique way. This is more of a personal movie than the other 2 movies. I feel like the first 2 movies are complete movies in general, but The Dark Knight Rises felt like a personal movie that successfully ends this really great trilogy. And out of all the Dark Knight movies, I would say Dark Knight Rises is the best filmed Batman movie in the series. Everything about The Dark Knight Rises is fantastic, from Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. The casting all around is fantastic in the movie. The action, some of the best filmed action I've ever seen. That underground fight between Batman and Bane, one of my favorite film scenes, like, ever. I love The Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was flawless. Still flawless in my opinion. It's a great comic book movie. I love The Dark Knight Rises, and I have to put in my #1 favorite movie of 2012. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Oh, let's not stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. So guys, that is my top 10 favorite movies of one of my favorite years of movies, 2012. Again, there's so many great movies that came out in 2012, I just have to put into 10. I could make a top 30 or 20, but of course, I have to put in my top 10 list. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what are your top 10 best movies of 2012? My top 10 worst movies of 2012 is coming this Sunday, so look forward to that. So guys, make sure you guys follow me on Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter. Keep contacting me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. And have a nice day.